Okay, we should be recording and we should be live. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to open this up on the computer so that if anybody is joining us, then we can, oh, it might
It's
still
gonna be
be
weird for me to not see the comments. I'm just here as a speaker. I'm not watching the comments right now. I don't
sitting
know if I
on
can.
your,
Oh, I
um,
can. My phone is so cool. Oh, wait, crap. Never mind.
you can see the
Sorry, here I am.
comments.
Well, I was gonna say I can pull up Facebook and Zoom. Am I frozen? Why is my face frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Hold on. Let me go out and come back. That's not an attractive face that to be frozen on.
Let's see. And oh, I need.
Oh, there I am. Mute.
Welcome to our technical difficulties, everybody. Like,
Who
come
is
on,
ready?
girl.
Oh, crap. What did I do?
Oh.
Put in the comments your thoughts, your feelings right
This is
now.
totally talking at us. Okay, stop.
While you're listening to Bryn talk over us live, put in the comments how you're feeling right now about moving forward with this year, masks, children. Bam. Okay, Bryn, start us off. Oh, wait. That's an old video. This is funny.
This is so
Okay.
good. Yes, so
Do
like
your
Krista said. Okay, hopefully that's working. We're just gonna go as if it's working and hope that comments will pop up so we can see it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Tessa said, if we would love to hear in the comments what your thoughts are about this upcoming school year, the mandate of masks, all of that. We're going to share our perspectives on it and our thoughts concerning it and hope that we can give, my intention is definitely to give moms ideas of what they can do to help their kids as there's a lot of emotional stuff going on behind the scenes here. And Tessa and I didn't practice anything. We don't have a script. So we're just gonna talk amongst each other and hope that you enjoy our humor.
This is my style of living. You can tell Bryn's like, what is this garbage? You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, Bryn.
Oh, I know I'm gonna love it. I love spontaneity too. So it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be awesome. And
if there's anything we think of that we want to add, we want a conversation in the comments. Like we want after this live, we want to keep discussing this for this to be like the opening to some like other possibilities that maybe we're not considering to support our kids in this time. So
I love it. So just to quickly start off, Tessa and I are both certified quickening coaches. She is a master coach and I'm a certified coach. So we're coming from a place of having studied a lot about emotional, how would you say it? Just like our emotions, we understand our emotions and understand deeper what's underneath our behaviors. And that's what we want to really point out today. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I love that. And I love that, like, we come from a place of being coaches and having these tools, but also being moms. And I love, like, it's funny, it's like being a doctor that you're the one that's usually sick. I have to constantly check in and be like, I need to be utilizing these tools for my children. So this conversation is really good for me too, because as a coach, I know how to implement a lot of these things when people have thought in, when they're like, yes, I want you to support me, I want you to help me. But in my everyday life, it's still a learning curve always as a mom. For all of us, we get into our habits with the way that we're parenting. And so yeah, I'm just really excited about this conversation. So can I say, the first thing I want to say and lead in with is that this conversation is so good if we come at it from this open perspective of, this is what I always like to people. We all know that we're going to screw up our kids, like exponentially. Even coaches who have these really great tools, like we're going to screw up our kids, period. My intention as a mother is to hopefully provide them with enough tools along the way and enough self-awareness that, number one, we can maintain a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, they will have like echoes, like memories of these tools in their minds throughout their life. You know, there's a scripture that I just was reading this week, and it was talking about how when this Alma, it's in the Book of Mormon. If you're LES, if you're not, it's just this story. It's just a great story of, he was like a lost son, and he was doing all these terrible things, and it was just this time he was like harrowed up in the pain of all the terrible things that he'd done. And I just think about my kids. They're going to screw up. They're going to do bad things. They're going to have shame. And there was this tiny little light of things that his father had told him in his life. And so for me, we're like, what's happening in the world right now, there's going to be emotional implications for our children. They're going, and we're going to talk about that. But I hope that these tools, like one day, when they're in the depths of it, there will be this little light of like, I know there's something that I can do about this. I know that there is tools, you know? So
right.
that's my thought.
I totally agree. And I love the knowledge that we just at the very beginning when you were talking, we have the tools, but it's constantly thinking about how to use them and how to utilize them and allowing them to really change us and our families. And with these tools, we really can offer success to families. And my number one goal, and you said this, my number one goal as a coach is that in the next life, our children choose us and we choose our children. Like,
that gives me the chills.
Because it is a choice. It will be a choice. And the only way that we will equally choose each other is if we have taken the time to understand each other and the deeper emotional things that are going on. And even though we're going to screw up our kids, you can have a relationship and it can be such a beautiful mutual relationship that there is just understanding. So I have a firm belief that right now for our kids, now is a pivotal time to start figuring out what the deep stuff is, because right now is going to shape our kids' futures. And if we don't take the time to figure it out right now, then we're going to have a hard time when they're teenagers, when they're out of the house, when they're adults, and they are going to have a hard time because of these times. So I just want to start off with this. Also, Tessa, I'm going to be putting this on YouTube. So we need to be aware of using like the COVID word.
The word. Yeah.
Just so they don't get censored. So we'll be aware of that.
I love that. Well, and I was going to say, just as an aside too, like I work and I train, I help people in marketing who are becoming coaches, but I also have my own program for people in direct sales. And it's funny because I got the chills when you said that, like us choosing them and them choosing us, because although I'm helping women in their businesses, my intent is so aligned with that. Like it's women stepping up as leaders and knowing their worth in that leadership. And so it's just, I just really love that. I wanted to speak to that. And yes, I will remain compliant in our words.
To the words.
I'm really excited to hear, because I know my thoughts. I actually just went live. My children, okay, so just as a preface, I have 5 kids from 1 to 10 years old. And my kids have attended school for 2.5, I'm not going to say 3 years, but you know, half of it was good oh my gosh, I said the word, but school, you know, they, half of it was at home learning through their school. Okay. And then I have homeschooled for 3 years. So, with that perspective, I have a lot of thoughts, and I did go live in a local group the other day, because I knew I needed to share some of this with moms with this perspective of both sides, and with the perspective of a coach and these distinctions and these tools that I know from our work. So I want to know what you're thinking and your thoughts and your concerns, and then I'll kind of jump in with mine on that.
Okay, and I think this is so authentic and so real, because we don't really totally know where each other stands on this. So this is just going to be fun. So here is my opinion about masks and all of the repercussions, and I'm just going to make it short. First, let's just talk about masks. And I'm not going to take a stance on whether or not they're right or wrong. I want to address the emotional aspect of what masks are teaching our kids, what I feel like they're teaching, and perhaps we can talk about how to change the mindset so that we're coming from a better place. So anyway, here is my opinion. We all have 2 or 3 life events that create some kind of focus in our life. And one of the things that a lot of us value is our safety. And through COVID, I have come to recognize that people are arguing and fighting for their safety. And when we just look at masks, we can look at both sides of those who are fighting pro masks are because they probably have some family member or they themselves are immune compromised or they fear for their physical safety. And then those who are against masks are also fighting for safety, but it's safety of their freedoms or the things that they have found that they have found comfortable in the past. And so you have 2 sides of pro masks against masks that are both fighting for the same thing. Their strategy of how they fight for it is just contradictory. And with that contradiction creates the need to fight and argue and brings out really disgusting behaviors from people. I am literally seeing on Facebook right now, and from the very beginning, I called this the verbal virus. I believe that the verbal virus is going to have more of a lasting effect than the germ is. People calling people idiots, people saying you have to do this for this reason, or you're stepping on my foundational rights. All of this stuff is creating a world of anger and hate, and people are not going to feel safe there.
Well, and I love that you're saying this, because to me, and then I look at it and I go, what are the implications of this for us as moms? Mm-hmm. This verbal virus, and even talking about being online, what's funny is I've actually gone out in the world and I've complied. And I've gone out in the world with people who are like, no, I'm not going to wear it. And and here's the thing. And so then I haven't. I've gone places, and what I've realized, this contention is not existent as to the level that it is online in the real world. Mm-hmm. People want to understand each other. People want to get along. People want peace. People are not getting up in each other's faces as much as we think they are. Even people who are doing that and then they're getting online and saying that they did it, they got up in someone's face, some store, whatever, that is the exception, not the norm. Like, people are seeking to understand. So here's the problem with the verbal virus, with being bathed in that all day long as a mom, and going, I just feel the contention. If you're on one side or you're on the other side, or you're not on any side at all, you're just sick of the contention. When we are absorbed in that, and then it transfers over to our children in our words, our thoughts, our energy, then our kids are going to be approaching life in some way or form. Mm-hmm. So for example, I check myself, and I even, my mom came and visited from California, and I'm choosing to not take my kids a lot of places. Like, I have a babysitter today, so I'm getting my nails done, I'm going to the store, I'm doing everything I possibly need to, because I just don't want to even have to face it, right? But I do take them to the public pool that's open. I do take them on the local, like, the place where we can hike. I do take them places, and we're in Texas. If they're under 10, they don't have to wear a mask. So my kids don't wear masks. I'm never going to make them wear a mask ever. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. So I guess, so anyway, my mom came, and my daughter's like, well, that's stupid that you're wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I want my children to seek understanding. Like, But she had some really good, she's like, logically, I don't get it. Like, she's 8 years old, and she was saying, like, people are touching these things. I mean, all these different things. She's saying, I logically can't make sense of this. And I want her to question things. I want her to think like that. I want her, but I don't want her to be like judging other people, because inside of that, there's always like a judgment of self, right? And so I had to look at myself and be like, how blatantly am I like, people are this? Am I lumping people in categories? Am I letting myself be bathed in the verbal virus? As opposed to, so then here's the implications that are concerning to me, and why I'm choosing to not send my kids to school this year, okay, is because, so I have, my oldest is a rule follower. She went to kindergarten in public school, and she would get in the car having to pee so bad, like she was gonna die. And I'm like, why did you not pee at school? And she's like, because we are only allowed to pee at lunchtime. That was her understanding of a rule. She was not willing to ask. She did not want to get in trouble. She wanted to do everything perfectly and right. And I saw at the end of, it was interesting, at the end of that school year, she very much was like, I have all greens, and I'm only friends with this girl who has all greens, and the girls who have yellows, we can't be friends with them. And I was like, hey, that's bull crap, that system in general, you know, and all kids aren't going to be like that. But knowing my kid enough, I pulled her out of school for the next 2 years, because I was like, she is freaking awesome. She does do everything right. She's very advanced in different things, but I don't want her growing up like with this, I'm better than other people, people are stupid, people are whatever. And so I have concerns with her going to school this year, because if there are protocols in place, right? So there are protocols in place. First of all, our school system in Texas, they're not telling us, and this is what I wanted moms to check in with. They're telling us the things that they only have to tell us. School starts in a week here, or a week and a half. They're not telling us what recess is going to look like. They're telling us if a kid has symptoms, they will be separated. And I'm asking, what does that mean? Are they going to be taken to another room until they're and quarantined until their mom can pick them up? And my kids have allergies. What if they have allergies? I'm going to have a kid that comes home from school for 3 days and is like bathed in shame because she did something wrong. And so for me, I realized I have a choice. I can pull her out. I could make the choice to send her to school, but there would be a lot more conversations that needed to be had about the fact that she always has a choice. And I think this is the main thing, is that when we send our kids to school with our beliefs, like, we don't have a choice, this is the new normal, I want you to be able to go to school. But instead, if we say it like, we have a choice. Now, we have a choice. Even if you have to work, you're a mom or something, and you go, mom can quit work. We could maybe get kicked out of our house, not have enough money for our whatever, like, just getting real with your kids. And I could homeschool you so that you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to sit away from your friends. You don't have to do this. Or we can make the choice. You can go to school, and we can talk about your feelings when you come home from school. And we can talk about the things that don't make sense to you. And we can do this. But every day we have to remember that we have a choice. Yep. So, and then I have another kid who's the total opposite. She's a rule breaker. She doesn't like rules. She doesn't want to follow them. She's got ADD. She probably should have an IEP, which are the kids that I'm concerned about this year that are going to school with an IEP. How can you educate them in a way that supports their disability or their different thing, with all of these restrictions? I feel for the teachers. Like, how are they? And to me, I'm like, I'm doing a service to the school district not sending this particular child. But this child, if she went to school, would be looking around every single day thinking about how the whole friggin' world are stupid. They're complete idiots. And I'm like, I don't want to ingrain in them. This is a gift in them. It's her gift that she questions things, that she's a natural rebel. She's going to stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves. But I don't want to squash that gift. I don't want to then have it ingrained in her that the whole world, it's like she already has this belief that the world is stupid, but it's going to so solidly like provide evidence for that. Yeah. So I could send her to school, and every day she could come home, and I could be like, she'd be like, everyone is stupid. These rules are stupid. I'm angry. I'm emotional. That'd be so much friggin' more work for myself as a mom. So consistency was the thing for me that I'm like, can I provide them with emotional, physical, educational consistency throughout this year? So yeah, those are my big things with
and
the
I
whole thing.
and I totally agree. There are, and I want to point I want to point out that however people choose, whatever people choose to do with their kids, um, I believe can be the best for your family. And but just know with any choice you make, it's going to be hard. There is not one choice here that is a easy win-win cut and dry situation. So what I would highly recommend is Tessa, she says she can provide stability, emotional stability, by keeping her kids home and teaching them, keeping them
But
from these
can I?
sorry, again.
That's the question. The only way I was going to say, the only way I can is if I have emotional stability with it myself, right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
So then parents that are sending their kids to school, a lot of parents are exhausted from their kids from having them home for so many months. And this is a finally get them out of my house, get them back to school, get them back to their normal. Well, I just want to be upfront and honest. Their normal isn't going to be normal, and they're going to come home and be emotional wrecks as well. Like the school systems, and I have a firm belief in this, the school systems, and I even have support from my educating parents who have been in the educational public school system for 30 years. The educational school system, public school system, does not have the resources to teach emotional intelligence to the kids. So if your kids are going to public school, if you are going to choose to do that, they are going to get the socialness that they probably need. It may look different, but there will be judgments of people are stupid or people are incompetent, people are dangerous, masks are here to protect us, hand sanitizer, these walls, whatever it is, all of these outside sources are here to protect us and everything is dangerous. That's what's terrifying to me. And that's just something that I can't support. My kids feeling like they are in danger all the time. So if you are sending your kids to school, if you're continuously going to work, it is crucial that you figure out that you are able to have these deep, in-depth conversations with your kids about their emotions, because they're going to be struggling. And Tessa, if you were to send your kids to school and choose to send your kids to school, let's just hypothetically, there are parents whose kids are the rule breakers. What would you do and what would you offer to them?
So that's interesting, because the thing is, my kids are actually still enrolled in school.
Tessa.
Well, I haven't actually officially unenrolled them because we are transfers and they go to a STEAM school, it's a STEM and art school. It's a really good school and I freaking love it there. And that's what decision was so hard for me. And I had to get off the fence with it, and be like, I am homeschooling, I am moving forward. But I love the teachers at the school. I love the education system that we have here. And so what I would do, and this is the thing, is first of all, you have to check in with them as a mom, and especially if you're sending your kids to school and then you have a lot to do that's not for you. So for example, if you work outside the home, or if you just need your kids to be gone so you can get all the crap done you need to get done in your home, if you are spending all of your time when they are gone doing and not like filling your cup, then you're not going to be prepared for when they come home at the end of the day and they're struggling. So that's the first thing, is I for sure, if I sent them to school, it would be with the intention that at least 2 hours of my day, we're not like napping, like another 2 hours could be napping, but at least 2 hours would be getting really, really present with myself, my own feelings, not scrolling Facebook, not reading stuff, but my inner guidance, like getting closer to God, getting closer to like resting at a deep soul level. So that would be number one, is I would make sure that the only intention, the reason I was sending them to school, and if you are working, you have to plug that in somewhere.
It
You
has
cannot be coming home from work exhausted, like your own emotional stuff from whatever's going on at work, and then your kids. So that would be the first thing. Like, wake up. You gotta learn to wake up at 5 a.m. or do something that's for you.
just really quick, I want to talk about the reality of this. If mom doesn't have a good grasp on her emotions, and then her kids come home with the grasp,
Oh yeah.
grasp of their emotions, they're going to be constantly fighting. Those kids are going to have outlashes, and they're going to be fighting with their siblings. Mom and dad won't be able to handle it. And that is where the issue is. We will not choose each other. We can't stand each other, so we won't choose each other. That is the end result here. If you, mom, don't take time for yourself to understand your emotions, these relationships are going to be ruined.
Well, and I think that's the thing that makes me sad about moms is this. I hate this phrase more than anything in the world, and which I know a lot of people say it to inspire and stuff, but I'm doing the best that I can.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, I'm not saying you can do better, because I think as moms, when we say I'm doing the best that I can, we think about all the things that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking about, like, I'm never going to be enough because I'm doing so much stuff, when in reality, I'm doing the best that I can has nothing to do with it. We need to learn to just be, like, to be present for ourselves. And that is what, like, no amount of doing is ever going to make us enough, ever. And so when we are in that, like, I'm doing the best that I can, it's really contrary to what we really actually need to be doing. So what I would do, especially, so my child, I would have preemptive conversations every single day. I would drive them to school, and I would do active visualizations on the way to school. And I would say, I want you to visualize the way that you want your day to go, and what do you want to experience? Like, what do you want to feel, and what do you want to experience? And even in the world that it is right now. So if your teacher's wearing a shield, but you want to feel loved by your teacher, and your kindergarten teacher can't hug you, what do you visualize? What are you seeing happening? Even if you have them imagine and visualize their perfect world, even have them visualize, I wish I could walk into my kindergarten classroom and hug my teacher, so that energy, those feelings, that emotion is in them. My husband works away from our home. He's gone for months at a time, and we were trying to manifest this new house. And so we would, on the drive to school every day, we were living in a 1,500 square foot home. There's holes in the floor. It was disgusting. It was old. It was whatever. And we wanted a bigger home where we could fit, and we want our dad to be home. We want him to get a different job. And so every single day we would drive to school, and they, for a while, would resist. Honestly, if you have kids that are stubborn, they're going to be like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. Why? But I would say, close your eyes. We're just going to imagine. And we call it, what do we call it? I can't think of what we call it. Imagination, something. And we would visualize, and I would make it funny. I would say, we visualize like this big house, and we have stairs, and we have this, and dad comes home, dad kisses us goodbye and says, bye, have a good day at school. And then we come home, and daddy's there, and he says, hello, everyone. And we make dinner, and then dad has to go take a poop, because dad has to take a poop every day after dinner. And so it's fun. They're laughing, and they're like, what? Right. But we visualized it every day. So if you have to do that with your kids, like, you get to walk in, and what it did is, it, instead of like missing dad and being sad and being angry and being whatever, they get to start their day with this feeling of, there is hope, there is something better. Like, instead of telling our kids, this is the new normal, we have to get used to it, let them visualize the world that they actually really want. Not from a place of, this is stupid, we want this, but from a place of, like, let's imagine and visualize it. So that's what I would do the visualizations, but I also would, with each child individually, have preventative conversations.
Yep.
So with the one that I know is a rule follower, I would say, you're going to have rules that you're going to have to follow, but does that mean anything about you? I would tell her all of the possibilities. I would say, if you get a cold and they, or if you get, your allergies and you start sneezing, they might separate you. Like, worst case scenario, I would go through with every child. I would say, they might separate you into a different classroom. They might not let you do this. Before school even starts, if they don't tell you explicitly what recess is going to look like, I would tell my rule breaking child, who already broke rules when there wasn't that many rules at recess, I would say, you might not be able to even go near your friends. You might not be able to go outside. You might not be able to, not to get her all stirred up in her story, but then I would say, if you couldn't go outside, if you couldn't touch your friends, if you had to sit away from them at table in the cafeteria, how could you make that like so fun?
Mm-hmm.
Because she breaks rules because she wants fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I would just preventatively have these conversations. So then when she gets in the car, which she would, and she said, this is so stupid, they didn't let me blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say, well, remember we kind of talked about this, and it wouldn't, the blow would just be so much less. There's this thing called fear setting. There's a guy named Tim Ferriss that he does TED Talk. There's YouTube videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And fear setting would be really good to do with your kids. It's really like talking worst case scenario,
Mm-hmm.
and then how can we prevent this, and how can we repair it if that is something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that's why I'm choosing not to send them to school, because I value ease.
Mm.
It just seems like way too much work, but it's possible.
Well,
It's
and
possible, but we have to be aware that we have that choice. Like
yeah.
if you choose to send your kids to school and the emotions get all crazy, it's a choice. Like you're choosing to then choose into the strategies that will make that more supportive to them.
Well, and now with your choice of not sending them to school, you still do have to have those conversations with them because they're going to be experiencing them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just less frequent. They're just going to be less frequent. They're going to be on your terms. They don't have to be an everyday thing. So
I can prepare myself mentally. Yes.
it really is. And you can handle it because you know that you can't handle, or you don't want to handle, getting called into the principal's office or getting phone calls every day saying this kid did this,
no.
this kid did this. It's just really, right now, that's something within your control. So moms that are not going to be homeschooling, that are sending their kids to school, be aware of the behaviors that come up, that because they're not getting everything that they used to get at school, they're going to be seeking for it at home, and it's going to exhaust you. Be prepared for that. So you yourself do a visual. What is your perfect world? What would you love to experience with your kids going to school? How do you want to show up for them? How do you want them to show up for you? How can you guys support each other and all of you be a team instead of fighting against each other? I think I'm totally with Tessa in saying, moms, you got to take care of yourself. And when moms come to me, it's always because my kid is doing this, I can't stand my kid. And I have to take a step back with my clients and say, okay, well, we need to take care of you and get to where your belief systems are and really take care of those before we can work on your kids' behaviors. Because what they're observing and how you're showing up is feeding them. And that's not a shame thing. That's just a fact thing, that we need to be present for ourselves so that we can step into power of leadership and invite all of the great possibilities that stand ahead of us and to take those head on. So either way, sending your kids to school or not, it's going to be hard work. And the fact of the matter is, moms, you have to understand where you're coming from, and you have to understand where your kids are coming from. And there has to be a mutual understanding that you guys are all trying to do your best. I swear to all that is good, and all that is good, your kids are not out to get you and to make your life miserable right now. They're just trying to figure out their own emotions. And it takes time to figure that out. So if you need help, get some help. Contact
Bryn.
Contact me about that, because we will take a step back and figure out where are you coming from. Notice if you are calling people idiots on your Facebook profile, if you are feeling the need to every day relentlessly pushing the need for masks or not pushing the need for masks, there's something deeper underneath that. There is an insecurity underneath that needs to be addressed, because it's not serving the world. It's somehow serving you, and that deep need is not creating a life of peace for you. That might be what you're trying to experience, but you're not experiencing peace. You're not experiencing safety. You're not experiencing freedom by continuously living in this story of whatever your story is, that either you're not safe or that people are incompetent or all of these judgments of other people, like Tessa said at the beginning, the judgments of other people has something to do with a judgment about you. And that's a hard reality.
Well, even just like, yeah, looking at my kid when she's like, you're stupid. It's like, I need to say that you're stupid to make sure that I'm not doing something wrong, or that I'm right. Like that I'm not the stupid one, or yeah. Well, and I love what you're saying about moms working on herself, because this is where we can look at the silver lining here. And this is where I stand against the stupid, verbiage, like the stupid new language that we're supposed to be speaking in. New normal is bull hockey. Because here's the thing, there is a silver lining to this. This is an amazing opportunity, Like, since the beginning of all of this, people have been saying it, and I want to reiterate that this is an amazing opportunity for us to look inside and look at what the crap is going on. We have to face it now for the first time. And what I see this as an amazing opportunity for is to stand in leadership, no matter where we go. Like, honestly, even having this conversation, I'm like, that would actually be kind of cool to send my kids to school and be able to stand in leadership from a place of internal, like my values and my internal knowing, instead of from a place of, well, I need to come in and talk to the school and tell them what to do, or ask them what's going on because they're stupid. But coming from a place of, this is the year that if you were afraid, if you were letting the school like make decisions, you can't do that this year. You have to ask questions. You have to step in and participate. And if you were the one that was constantly questioning and like, you're trying to control my kid or whatever, this is the year we have to learn to cooperate. We have to, the schools, the administrators, like, I mean, I'm friends. My kid's swim teacher this summer, she's an administrator in the school district. She's freaking amazing. Like, they want this collaboration. They want cooperation because they don't even know how to freaking make this work right now. And this is, I'm going to come totally clean about a stupid belief of mine, but I have this belief that people who are in the education system, people that I know, even my mom is in the system. In order to be there, you have to have a little bit of this belief that the school knows better. Like, the school is there. I mean, even because they've seen it, because they've seen evidence of parents who aren't taking care of their children. And so they want to save these kids. They want to help them. But then parents who are competent, let's just say, or parents who are trying their best, parents who are, it's just kind of colored their view of everything. And I think this year is a disruption of that, because they are seeing, yes, there are children who need this support. They need to be back in school. They need this, but they're also seeing the parents, they're seeing that they need to collaborate with the parents more, I guess is what I'm saying, that this is a more holistic approach, that there's no way. So, and even in homeschooling, like, it is going to take a village. And we are going, and this is actually something that I love, that as moms this year, more than ever before, if your kids are in school or they're not in school, we have to ask for help. And this is one of the huge roadblocks, I think, of a lot of moms of getting themselves okay emotionally, is that we are not okay with asking for help. And that's going to have to be broken down, like, for sure, no matter what we're doing this year with our kids. So whether that is sending your kids to school and getting Bryn for your own emotional support, or for me, I have to get more physical support now because I'm keeping my kids home. So
there is so much truth to that. And I hope that parents, I like what you said. What would it be like to send your kids to school with the mentality of standing in leadership? If parents, if a village of parents can gain understanding of their emotional intelligence and send their kids to this broken system, to this system that is really going to struggle, how much of a breath of fresh air would that give the teachers? If children were brought to school having done a visualization, having manifested what they want versus don't want, if they've had this 15-20 minutes of planning the day ahead of time, that will bring so much peace to an educator. And heaven knows those educators are scared. My parents,
thinking about it, like the teachers,
it's terrifying. Both of my parents right now have been working with teachers that are like, I have to do in-school teaching and virtual teaching and be a mom and do church callings. How in the world am I going to do this? They are scared. And to me, it sounds unfeasible. Like, I don't know how it'll work, but the moms that are willing to work on themselves will be such an asset to either bringing their kids home or sending their kids to school. Like, get understanding of your emotional intelligence. Where are your stories? Where does your belief that people are dangerous stem from? Because I tell you what, if you don't take the time to do it with your kids right now, they are going to go 20 years when COVID is not happening, and they're going to live in a world of danger, thinking that everybody is dangerous, that they are never safe, that they have to take all of these precautions to experience safety. And that is scary to me, to think that my kids could really sit and believe that they are not safe. So anyway, those are just a few of my thoughts. I don't know if it is well-rounded and what people will get from this. My Facebook was not working.
We did provide some strategies. Like, I hope there are some strategies that, you're taking away from it. And
honestly, if nothing else, start with the visualizations and start with your self-visualization. I think the biggest takeaway that I just want to give parents today is tonight, when you are feeling, if you are feeling the stress, if you are on the fence of what am I going to do, what am I not going to do, honestly, sit in your bed and just say, what would my perfect world look like? And let your heart rate decompress, get on a normal rhythm, and just see what starts coming to your mind. What could you come up with? And don't let your mind take control and say, well, if I did this, then I'd have to do this, and I'd have to do this, and don't stress yourself out. Just let your internal soul give you answers, because your internal soul, your deep, authentic self, knows what you should do. Inside of yourself has all of the answers. So ask, what would my perfect world look like? And then let yourself imagine it and let it be perfect.
I was going to say, well, and what I love about that is letting yourself imagine the perfect world without any buts.
Yes.
So what I mean by that is without but it's like this right now, and it's not going to be like that. Like, I actually haven't even done this myself, and I'm like, I probably should do this. Imagine it like this is gone. If you every day are like, I just wish this was over. This is just stupid. I just da-da-da. Imagine if this was just like any other year starting the school year. What would be your perfect world? Not just going back to school and it being normal. Like, what if it was totally perfect and everything you wanted? Because then in your body, you're getting to this place of values and what you value. And you're going, like you said, like, you can breathe, you can be at peace, and then make a choice from there. And then go, okay, what am I supposed to do? Now I can look at what is going on. I can face that I have a choice in this, but I cannot control these parts of it. But from this place of peace, what do I choose? What do I want to do? Instead of from a place of, like, well, but I have to do it because of this. I don't have a choice. And I think that not having a choice, that's what keeps us stuck in the yucky.
And I just want to put my result here, or my personal experience here, that I have done that. And I have visualized what my perfect world looks like. And my kids are only 2 and 3 years old. So them going to school is not a need right now. But for me, I have had to sit back and say, okay, what do I want my kids to experience in the world right now? And what do I want to experience right now? And just like you said, in my perfect world, we still are going out to splash pads. We still are going out to lakes. We still are going on hikes or going to the park. Like, to me, those are important things that I'm choosing to do. And but I am also choosing to not take them to the store, or I'm not even really going to the store, just because for me, I value my comfort and my comfort in a mask is not there, but my comfort in picking up groceries from grocery store pickup is there. So I am getting to experience exactly what I want to experience amidst this pandemic.
And I think it's because you're acknowledging that you have a choice.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, I have a choice. You did your perfect world. And then you're like, wait, all the things that I value most about freedom in the world, I have access to a lot of those still, right?
I have access to everything that I need. Like even going to my doctor's appointments and being mandated to wear a mask, I can sit and say, okay, I value ease. I value my safety. However, I also value the safety of others, and others don't have a choice here, or others, healthcare workers, they're mandated to wear a mask while they're there. I can comply with them. These stores that are mandating masks right now, those coworkers are they do not want the job telling you to wear a mask at the front door.
I know. I feel so bad for them. Well, that's what I was going to say. I know. It's not, they're just the messenger. That's the thing that's funny. That's what I'm saying is when you get out in the world, and this is actually the plus side of not complying. If you want to experiment, because I went with someone she was so strong in her resolve. And honestly, I have medical conditions that make me so that I don't have to wear one. I don't own them. Like, they're not my identity, but I justifiably could say I have a medical condition, but I don't, because I'm afraid of confrontation. And she isn't. Like, she just was like, she walked in and she's like, I have a medical condition. And they're like, oh, but they're like, but I'm trying to do my job. And then she's like, can you just help me find this? And then they like relaxed and we're like, yeah, oh my gosh, let me do my job. And like, it wasn't as much of a thing as we think it is a thing, you know?
And
I don't know.
Here's something to also bring up. So I'm from a really small community, and there's a video going viral right now about some guy going into Smith's and purposely not wearing masks, and he had his video camera right on him, like he was ready for a fight. And the sweet lady just says, hey, do you have a mask? And he says, no, I don't have a mask. And he says, oh, well, let me get you one. You have to have one. Well, if you're going to keep me from the premises, then can I get that in writing? And you know where his intention was. And it's really just right now, how do you really want to show up? How do you want to show up for you, for your kids? How can you create this world of possibility and equality, knowing that all of us are trying to really experience the same things? Can I quickly borrow your charger, Dad?
Oh, I thought you were going to go get a baby or something, a sleeping baby. I'm like, this pregnant lady is going up the stairs.
I've got 5% left, and I'm like, please don't die before we do this. Like, I'm ready to end, but got to get it downloaded and all that without a time. But really, But really, that's just where, I guess, everything that we've just been talking about today, this has been heavy, heavy, heavy on my heart. And I just want to encourage moms to look for the help that they need as we experience this. Because if you are, something that I'm loving right now is I'm learning how our bodies physically respond to outside sources. So if your back is really hurting, or your shoulders are really hurting, or your head is really hurting, it has a deeper meaning than what we think it means. And I'm willing to bet people with chronic illnesses that are really stressing about this, or people that are really healthy that are just noticing, oh gosh, my foot really hurts, or my shoulders have been really tense. If they've really been worried about how to handle themselves and their kids during this time, it all ties together. All of our energies really tie together.
That's such a good tip. This is a good last tip, y'all, that pay attention. Like, this is another gift in this, is that us as moms and as women, first of all, I think so many of us women are so disconnected from our body.
Yes.
And so can we say that if we do start tuning in to physically what's going on with us and checking in and going, I wonder like what emotionally that does mean. Ask Bryn, ask me, because I know. Because I certified in this kind of stuff. I used to do this kind of work. I mean, but even us getting aware and connected to our body, first of all, you start enjoying your body a lot more, the value of pleasure in a lot of different ways. Let me just say, like food and other things, you know, but,
Other things.
but also all the things when you connect to your body. But I love that tip. Like, this is a great tip that we can actually utilize this year as a way to get more in tune with our bodies. And our body is giving us clues as to what's wrong, just like our emotions are giving us clues as to what is wrong and what is missing for us. And if we are feeling angry and our shoulders are hurting, then we can check in and go, what do I feel like I'm carrying the weight of on my shoulders? And why am I feeling angry? What do I value that is missing right now? Sometimes I feel angry when I see someone do something so combative like that. If I saw a guy go into a store like that, even though I value freedom, even though I might agree with some things that he says, if I saw someone do that, it would make me angry because I really value compassion and peace and right. And so even our emotions are a gift, and our pain is a gift right now in this time to get more in tune. So I love that.
And I just want to back up what you're saying. There was a lady on my Facebook who just said, what is one good thing that has come from COVID? And she got lots of people commenting stuff. And then somebody just said, I will not give any good to this horrible, awful, awful thing. And
power.
And so she's given all of her power to the virus. All of the way that you view is just, you've given all of your fear, all of your discomforts, everything to this virus to where it's taking over your life. And I just want to say there is so much good coming from this. Business-wise, physically, mentally, step into the good that is going on, because I kid you not, if you look for it, you will find it. And I know for my family, we are going to be being blessed financially by the hardships of COVID. It's crazy to believe, but I know that it's there. Physically, I am so grateful that I have the knowledge of how to slow down and tune into my body. Do you remember a few weeks ago when I messaged you and was like, Tessa, my ears are killing. Yeah. And you're like, you should do some energy work on that. And I'm like, you're right, I should. And so I had my mom do a session on me, but then also just read my book of what does it mean? And it's literally talking about what kind of negativity are you hearing in your life that is like literally soaking in and staying there. I've had these horrible ear infections lately. I'll just wake up to these horrible ear pains. And as I've been working through the negativity, I realized, oh my gosh, I get them when I watch The Bachelor in Paradise.
That's really funny.
I'm like, okay, I'm done watching Bachelor in Paradise. Or if our bodies talk to us, guys. Pay attention to what your body is saying to you. If you have some physical pains that are uncomfortable for you, look into what's going on, because there's just trapped emotions. It's there. So in essence, all in all.
Well, I have one more saying that came to me as you were saying, that lady who said, she's giving her power to COVID, right? And she wouldn't say anything positive. Mm-hmm. What we focus on grows. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, we have control over what we're seeing, what we're creating, what we're doing, what our children are seeing and doing and creating, because what we are focusing on is what's going to grow. So
and it so is. And I also had the quote, a distinction that you and I teach to our clients is use discomfort as an alarm. Just understand that when you're uncomfortable with something, it's your body or your mind saying something is up, look into me, and take the time to do it. Find that emotional reason for the discomforts. And if you do that, you can literally show up better for yourself and your kids. And the behavioral issues that you're currently planning on seeing from your kids will dissipate. Like, you will bring a whole new world of possibilities to your family. So anyway, was that a great conversation or what, Tessa?
I know. I'm like, I feel like we could just keep talking forever.
Oh,
I gotta end it sometime.
I totally could, and I'd be happy to talk so much more with you. I've missed you. I'm like, come on, bro. Anyway, if anybody has questions, let me hurry and pull up my phone and see if anything is up real fast.
Pregnant lady's gonna fall over.
Lady. It's something else. Oh, I hadn't really announced that I was pregnant on this Facebook page, on my Facebook. So I'm pregnant. I wasn't keeping a secret. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look.
Were you keeping a secret?
No, we were not keeping it a secret.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't announce it right here. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody commented anything right now, so I'm going to share it to my Real Ladies page. Oh, and just quickly, I'm sharing this. I did it live on my group so that it can be shared if other people choose to share this. But I always offer 1 hour free coaching sessions to anybody who is wanting to dig deeper into what's going on in their life and offer techniques that are specific to them. So especially during COVID, take advantage of this free offer. My sole intention is to have parents choose their kids and their kids choose each other. And this is something that I feel is so detrimental to that happening. So just shoot me a message. Anything you want to say, Tessa?
It was so great being here. And you have a business and you think there's no flipping way I could homeschool and do my business, or I could whatever, and you want some support, you can call me. Oh my gosh, I don't know what just happened. I plugged in my phone and it messed up. But yeah, it's really great to have this conversation. And
well, and just notice that even in our conversation, you even had an aha moment. Just oh, what would that be like if I sent my kids to school with you?
I know.
You know,
see, like, this is a benefit of talking to a coach. If you want to get on the phone with a coach, you want to have an aha about your family and your kids, talk to Bryn. If you want to have an aha about your business, just talk to me, because here's the thing, like, even for me, that was amazing. I was like, wow, it actually, I didn't even think about the possibility of sending my kids to school and actually the good things that could come from that. So I did like that. That was cool.
Yeah. And remember that time when I helped you get into your new house because you talked to a coach?
Oh, can we just talk about that really fast? The house that I was talking about, like with the holes in the floor, and it was older than me, 35-year-old house, and Bryn was the final straw. Like, she was the catalyst. And 3 weeks later, we moved out of our house into a 3,000 square foot brand new home, built an acre of land, amazing dream home.
Can I just say I'm all that in a bag of chips?
Can't forget that part.
No, it's the best part of the story for me. No, I'm just kidding. But really, you know what? Kate, she said something so interesting once just about coaching. She said, if people would just stand in front of a light pole and just talk to it for 1 hour, they would get so much more understanding about their life. It's like, yes, seriously, we don't take the time to sit and listen to our thoughts. So pay somebody to do it, do a free session, go stand in front of a light pole, whatever it is. Right now, you got to flesh out, you, mom, need to flesh out what's going on in your mind and figure out what it is that you really want. And it might just help having somebody help you do that.
Well, I was going to say, you know what I think is the difference between a light pole? Because I actually just did a sales call with my husband for the first time, and I've been doing this for almost a year and a half. And I don't know why I had resistance to sitting down with my husband and figuring out his stuff. And here's the thing. He was just talking to himself, but if he stood in front of a light pole, he wouldn't say anything. He would be like, like, stuff's pretty okay, because here's the thing, his pattern is, I'm okay, everything's okay. So he doesn't make changes, he doesn't do things, and your pattern might be, I'm in survival mode. So then you might just tell the pole about all the evidences you're seeing around you that you're in survival mode. Like, this is reality. For my husband, he might just tell the pole how, like, he hates being away from his family, but, like, it's okay, he can make it work and whatever. When I'm there on the other side, what a coach does is it's like pattern interrupt. It interrupts you in that pattern and goes, wait, nope, I want you to talk about this thing. And then they're like, oh crap, I haven't talked to myself about that thing. And then you'll say things that you didn't even know were inside of you that, so getting on the phone with Brentford is life changing. That's what happened to me. And I moved out of my house. So just saying.
That was such a good time. No, really. It's such a, coaches need coaches and people need coaches. It's all great.
True.
It's all so good. Anyway, all righty, Tessa, I appreciate you getting on the phone with me. If people have questions, send a message to us. We're happy to help. Both of us honestly do this because we have a love for it and a deep connection to it. So we're here to serve. Anyway, all righty. Thank you, Tessa. Love you. Bye.